Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. It's great to be here as always. Happy Saturday, everybody. And we got a short video today talking about some actual positive things for the Second Amendment and this administration. You guys know that I have been pretty critical up to this point of the performance of this administration. I would even go as far as to call it piss poor because we have been tracking it on a Second Amendment scorecard. We know that last time they were in office, they did some bad stuff as far as the Second Amendment is concerned. And this time around, I am very skeptical of this administration's seriousness on their Second Amendment mandate. I don't think that they take it serious. But even though I am skeptical of that, I think that it is important that we remain objective whenever we are evaluating somebody's performance. So today we've got two things to talk about that are in the positive, and we're going to enumerate those in our Second Amendment scorecard and in our little gauge over here. The first is the Taylor Toranto situation. You guys remember the video I did like a couple days ago on Taylor Toranto? Basically, this is the guy that is being charged simultaneously with possession of a unregistered short barrel rifle and a pistol. They are the same gun, and the configuration is actually a CZ Scorpion with a pistol stabilizing brace on it. Yeah, you guys can see the implications of that even if you didn't watch the original video. Yeah, so the news is that the SBR charges have been dropped, which is a positive. However, again, we need to make sure that we consider this in context, and instead of just deleting this reference completely from the list, I'm going to just add a positive in there so that they cancel themselves out. I think it's important to maintain an accountability. I'll put it like this. Why is it that this administration is reliant on YouTubers and the general internet to figure out what's going on at their job? Why is it that I have to report on something and all of my counterparts have to report on something and whip up the internet for you guys to actually do anything in the right direction? And to put it in a more shorthand, why are we doing your homework for you? Why instead do I report on something and then a couple days later or a week later or a month later or something like that, you guys do something about it, instead of me reading a press release from you guys and reading, hey, here is a problem that existed before we got here and we have decided to fix it. Why am I not reading press releases from the Department of Justice saying how they fix stuff a week after the fact of it becoming a major issue and being brought to my attention? Why is the Attorney General of the United States reliant on that sort of system? Do your job. I guess the other thing that I would say about this that I don't particularly like is while those charges are dropped, we never got an answer on whether those people were acting out or not. Did you fire those attorneys that were acting out, that are rogue elements? Are they still there? Are they still working there? If they are not, then we should know about that because that is another positive. If they are still working there, then you're just maintaining the status quo. And the only reason that you did that is because people got mad. So either you have these rogue elements or you don't. If you have the rogue elements, then you should cut them out and get rid of them permanently, as in fired with prejudice, so they can never do this to any future government of the United States. So if you're serious about it, you'll make examples. Those are the critiques that I have in the Taylor Toranto situation. Obviously, a positive. I'm not going to deduct any more points for this. For an incomplete story, it is a good thing that the charges were dropped. This video was brought to you by Medical Gear Outfitters. They are my go-to stop for all things medical. It doesn't matter whether you need something that just holds a bunch of Band-Aids and maybe some aspirin or something like that, or if you need an actual trauma kit. If you don't have a trauma kit in your house or in your vehicle, then I highly suggest that you go check our people out at Medical Gear Outfitters, and they offer all of you a discount. You can find all of that information over at the affiliates page and all the relevant places, and use that to great effect. I really hate any coverage talking about any topic that is directly related to some kind of tragic event that has happened in our country or elsewhere in the world. I just don't think that those are incidents that should be politicized. And oftentimes we stray well into the political here. I just think that it's gross, but unfortunately, there are people in our government and in our country that rush to any kind of public incident involving a firearm to try to push their agenda. I find it absolutely reprehensible and disgusting. And this situation that happened at FSU is no different. Within minutes of something like this happening, you've got all of the yapping going on and asking the president directly what he's going to do about it.
Following and amid that, is there any changes that you want to see to gun legislation? Anything you see broken with gun laws in our country?
I'm going to have to look. I'm a big advocate of the Second Amendment. I have been from the beginning. I protected it, and these things are terrible. But the gun doesn't do the shooting. The people do. It's a phrase that's used probably too often. I will tell you that it's a shame. I'm just hearing about it now. I just hear about it. I know the area very well. I know the school very well. I know everything about it. It's Florida. And we'll have more to say about it later.
What do you mean when you say there will be more to say about it?
Only in terms of what happened. As far as legislation is concerned, this has been going on for a long time. I have an obligation to protect the Second Amendment. I ran on the Second Amendment, among many other things, and I will always protect the Second Amendment.
Mr. President. Good fucking job, sir. Fantastic. 2 points. I know that we've always been doing plus or minus of 1, but there are 2 statements there. 1, the guns don't do the shooting, the people do. And that is a recognition that it isn't the inanimate object, that it is the person that is the problem. You cannot legislate away someone's lack of a soul, okay? The second statement is a recognition that there are already ridiculous laws on the books in the state of Florida. And as far as we know, as far as we can tell thus far, is there is at least 7 violations of Florida code that had to occur for this incident to occur. To go anywhere else would be to further infringe on the Second Amendment, because the Florida situation is already really bad as far as their regulations in place on particularly young people acquiring weapons. So, good job, sir. I appreciate this. Now, we have to meter this a little bit. Let's go to our meter. Remember that while that is a good thing, we have to consider all of this in context. He says some stuff about how he's been a defender of the Second Amendment. I don't think that banning bump stocks is being a defender of the Second Amendment. I don't think his statements about suppressors are being a defender of the Second Amendment. I don't think that any of the things on this list over here that have red tags next to them are being a defender of the Second Amendment. So considering everything in context, that brings him up to pretty much on par with Barack Obama thus far. So, sir, while I congratulate you on a good job done on this particular one, shutting it down before it can really get any legs, as it should be when we're talking about a God-given, inalienable right enshrined in our Constitution, literally the second thing that we wrote, civil rights of the people. We don't talk about banning people's, well, actually, there are a lot of people that talk about banning people's ability and right to free speech, but that's not at the level that we talk about taking people's weapons away. So good job. Fantastic. Let's keep that march going forward, fix these problems that we've been talking about, and actually be an advocate for the Second Amendment, and I will sing your praises every single day. But until which time, I'm saying that you got a lot of work to do.